Hello and welcome to Blythe Business News. For this edition, I'm joined by Jason Brewer, who is Chief Executive of Marula Mining. Marula operating in South Africa and Zambia and listed in London on the Aquis market. Jason, welcome back on the show. You've just had some assay results from the Blesberg lithium and tantalum project you have in South Africa. Give us an overview on the assay results, please.
Sure, and Tim, it's a pleasure as always to be here. As our investors and shareholders will know, we completed an initial bulk sample program in early August, and that was on some of the waste stockpiles which had accumulated from the past 80 years or so of mining at that Blesberg mine. During that period, there was no real extraction or recovery of the spodumene, of the lithium-bearing mineralization. So we were very keen to understand the sort of grade of material and volume of material in that. So we put out the RNS last week, reporting some of those initial assay results. Very encouraging, averaging over 6%, and that's a saleable product. So over 6% Li2O. So, over 1 ton, it averaged well over 6%. So that was very encouraging indeed. Other assays, grab samples from around the various waste stockpiles, and there are considerable stockpiles there. It's probably inappropriate to call it waste. And it ranged from 1.8% up to over 6% again. So all very encouraging, was completed independently by our consultants, Southern Metal Processing. And with those results, we've really decided to push forward at pace now with Blesberg.
So we're not going to call it a waste dump, but whatever it is, we've got this area rich in lithium dioxide, good grades. But I'm assuming now you're going to be focusing on that. So we're not looking at digging an underground mine. There's no great mining costs, processing costs. So just talk us through what you see as the Capex costs, or even the low level of Capex costs going forward.
Yeah, Tim, you're spot on there. I mean, Blesberg, as I said, has operated intermittently for over 80 years as an industrial minerals mine, primarily for beryl, for mica, for feldspar, even for the quartz, but never really for the spodumene. So you've actually got 3 small quarries located on this licensed area. Within that, you can actually see the spodumene crystals, very, very large. I mean, some 2 meters wide, 2 meters across, and the sort of stuff you don't really see anywhere else. So you've got a very big system, which gives us a lot of, belief in the hard rock potential. However, as I said, there's anywhere from 250 to 400,000 tons of stockpiles there, and contained within that is the spodumene, the lithium mineralization. So for us, now that presents a tremendous opportunity, and one where I think we've really got to push forward. We're not putting off the hard rock to under open pit operation. Far from it. We actually need to move these stockpiles to maximize the potential there in the hard rock. So it's a great first step. Think of it as a pre-strip, but a pre-strip that's going to generate some significant earnings for us through the reprocessing of these stockpiles. So a lot of encouragement, a lot of interest already in this, both from our own consultants, from mining consultants, and offtake groups, because there is the potential to very quickly reprocess those stockpiles and get a saleable product into the market. As we've said, with very low capital costs, very low operating costs as well.
Okay, Jason. So you've got a significant deposit here of high grade material in what we're now not going to call a waste dump. But how much recoverable material do you think is in there in the stockpiles? And what work have you got planned just to prove that up if you need to do so?
Look, Tim, that's the key focus of our attentions and our activities on site at the moment. Last week, we had the team on site. We've done some additional drone surveys, some standard survey work to basically better quantify the size of those dumps. Those dumps have accumulated over a fair bit of time, and the records vary considerably, but anywhere from 250 to 400,000 tons of stockpiles. Within those stockpiles, clearly there's areas of relatively high concentrations of that spodumene mineralization. Approximately 70% of the material there is contained in a greater fraction than, I think it's 8 to 10 mil. 30% is in fines. So that's a separate processing opportunity we're looking at. But of that 70% in there, you can visibly see the spodumene mineralization as you walk around these dumps. So it's not going to be recovered through a chemical extraction. It's going to be done through sorting, optical sorting. We've had our consultants up in Joburg reviewing a number of optical sorters, which will allow us to better understand the recoverability of the spodumene mineralization from the stockpiles. Visibly, it's very easy to differentiate that from the quartz, from the feldspars, and so on. So that's a huge advantage for us. And even when you look at the grade, there is a very big noticeable difference in color from the low grade to the high grade. So again, I'd like to think it's a relatively straightforward process. Nothing is straightforward in mining, that's for sure. But from an ease of moving forward with this, clearly having those stockpiles, being able to visibly identify the spodumene very easily, to be able to visibly identify the high-grade spodumene, it all adds to an opportunity to get a fairly high amount of recoverability of the spodumene in those stockpiles. So yeah, we're quite excited by it. And that's why I say all our activities at the moment within Marula are primarily focused on how we can accelerate this project into development and reprocess those stockpiles.
Well, I was going to say, because as I understand it, your board has just approved an accelerated program to fast track the treatment of the high grade lithium. Just give us a little bit of detail on what that work might entail.
Sure, there's a number of phases with that, as I'm sure you can appreciate. There's a site establishment work which has commenced. New offices on site. I mean, it benefits from fantastic infrastructure. We're in the Northern Cape province of South Africa. You've got some world-class mines there on the base metal side, a tremendous amount of investment going into mining in that region, which is fantastic. The town of Springbok, a mining town, very close by. So you've got a good labor force immediately available to work. But that's initial site establishment, making sure we've got the water, the power, the offices there, just upgrading existing facilities. So that work has commenced. That work actually commenced last week. So we're very excited with that. As part of the regulatory process, going through the process to have the waste disposal permit, because basically we're retreating waste. So we have to have a special permit for that and mining permits as well, all of which we entail will take us a couple of months now to get finally in place and allow us to commence work. So that's the key areas, I guess, on site, the regulatory, the site establishment, and firming up the actual processing aspect of it. As I said, there's still a lot of work which is ongoing, and all of that work will just add further confidence in what we're doing. In parallel with that, as a corporate aspect, it's the offtake. Clearly, we've got a product which is readily saleable in the export markets and one which is in tremendous demand at the moment. So we have already received a number of approaches from various parties looking to purchase that product. And those discussions are ongoing. And we hope that as we progress the permitting, the operational aspects, this will be completed in parallel with that. So a fair bit of work, but you know what? Exciting work. We're not looking at it from a 3, 4, 5 year development timetable. We're talking months here. So everybody within the group, from the board all the way down to the people on the ground there, very excited about what this could be and how it could potentially move into a bigger hard rock operation as well. So yeah, good times.
Well, Jason, good luck with that. Thanks for joining us. That was Jason Brewer of Marula Mining, listed in London on the Aquis Exchange, updating us on the company's plans to fast track to revenue with some very low Capex costs, the projects they have down there, looking at some spodumene development. That's it from Blythe Ray Business News for this edition. Thanks for watching. Bye.